A 16-inch and especially a 17-inch have no right to be this light and easy to carry around, but they are. Here we are again in my living room for another overview of a Windows 10 premium device. It's familiar to me now, like this intro section where I introduce what we are looking at with a little bit of flair or silliness. But with every laptop I see, I'm always looking for what makes it different. Where's the innovation? Where's the design? Where's the evolution? What's pushing the Windows 10 premium laptop forward? So this overview is going to start with me lifting this behemoth onto the table. There we are. See that? That's a 17-inch laptop from, I want to say 5 years ago, something like that. Cool? Right. Oh. This is the 17-inch and 16-inch variants of the new LG Gram with Intel Evo. First up, disclaimers. This video is an overview of these devices, so I've spent a couple days with them and we're going to try and give you everything we think you need to know about these devices without going too much into personal opinion. Well, most of this video anyway. Also, we have both the 16-inch and 17-inch variants here. The 17-inch one is what we've used the most, but a lot of what we talk about will apply to both devices. We will specify when it doesn't. But with that out of the way, let's talk about LG Gram. Now, LG laptops over the years really took that name on board, creating premium laptops that are ridiculously easy to take with you whilst having a gorgeous design. And let's just get one thing straight. A 16-inch and especially a 17-inch have no right to be this light and easy to carry around, but they are. The LG Gram name is represented very well here. The 16-inch variant weighs just 1,190 grams, making it officially the lightest 16-inch laptop in the world, and the 17-inch variant weighs in at 1,350 grams. Now, if you are used to using big screen laptops from over the years, I cannot stress how weird yet wonderful it is to lift these devices. I must call out the 17-inch one specifically because, look, this thing is just big. Yeah, I'm carrying it around like it was a tablet. Now, as far as comparison goes between the two, despite there only being an inch difference, there is a noticeable difference in size when looking at them both open and closed. So that may play into your preference between the two. But anyway, we've barely got this overview rolling, so let's actually look at the outside. Both of these models feature an all-metal body made from magnesium alloy and its durability classified by passing a military standard for things like shock drop tests, vibrations, temperature, etc. On both models, it does have a very clean finish. So our 17-inch model here comes in obsidian black, with our 16-inch model coming in quartz silver. They both have very clean lines with this beautiful placement of the LG Gram logo on the front. The bottom of both devices feature these large feet to give you better airflow from the vent, plus sound from the bottom firing speakers as well. Plus they're thin, so at 16.8 millimeters for the 16-inch and 17.8 millimeters for the 17-inch. Now, with these thin and light bodies, you will get a generous amount of ports here. On one side, we have a full-size HDMI, two Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports, great if you want to hook up dual 4K displays, and a headphone jack as well. On the other side, we have a slot for UFS or micro SD storage, plus two more traditional USB-A 3.2 ports. That's a lot of ports, which granted you should expect from laptops of this size, but again, with how thin and light these are, it's great to see. Now let's really open these two up and look at the core reason for having a laptop of this size, the sheer magnitude of the display. Both of these laptops feature a 2560 by 1600 WQXGA display. Don't ask me what WQXGA stands for, I have no idea, but these displays feature twice the resolution of Full HD, plus they have a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. This makes the display taller than the traditional widescreen 16 by 9, and this is down to the slim bezels that LG have provided on all four sides, giving you a really immersive experience. Quick thing on the bezels actually, I don't know why this fascinated me so much, but I really like the way they go inwards towards the screen on either corner. It's like it's kind of saying, look at me, I am your display. No, it's just me. We'll carry on. Point is, the resolution makes for a great viewing experience, which I've ended up using on my desk, sat on the sofa, whilst in bed. Videos especially look great. Now, color buffs, you will like to know that the display on both these laptops gives you the industry standard DCI P3 99% color gamut for a wide range of colors that are both clear and vivid. The last thing to note is these models don't feature a touch display, so regardless of how beautiful they are, please do not go poking the screen, you will get grease on it. But I've said before, I generally, as a preference, go for touchscreen laptops, but as we keep mentioning, these are large displays, so they're likely to be part of a desk setup, and they're clamshell designs as well, so it can be argued that you wouldn't really use the touch. It is what it is. In any case, they are stunning screens. Now, keyboards, they are almost the same across the 17-inch and the 16-inch variants. The main difference is the number pad, which is a bit more compact on the 16-inch model and has had a few other options moved around. But the keyboard itself, the actual part you will actually be typing on the most, is the same experience on both. So if we compare it to previous generations of the LG Gram, the keycaps have been expanded with its key pitch being raised to 1.6 millimeters, which is apparently meant to help with fatigue. And I would rate the clickiness as satisfying. On a personal note though, it's a lovely keyboard. I typed up this entire script on the 17-inch. I approve. You've got the usual set of function keys across the top. Shout out to F4, which is a privacy switch, so you can deactivate your webcam and your mic. Nice. We also have the humongous touchpad, which is the same size for both models. It's a 16:10 aspect ratio, matching the screen, and I would rate the touchpad clickiness as satisfying. So let's get into this thing. We are, of course, on Windows 10, where the whole experience starts with the inbuilt fingerprint reader, which is in the power button. It's a placement that makes absolute sense. We have full support for Windows Hello, allowing quick passwordless entry to your laptop. The 16:10 aspect ratio of the screen itself is something I am becoming increasingly a fan of. Some laptop makers go for the 4:3 aspect ratio, which gives you much more height, but this 16:10, it still gives you the height for when you're scrolling through web pages, whilst not sacrificing the width quite as much. It's really handy when snapping applications side by side, and it just feels natural. The massive touchpad as well makes it ridiculously easy to make use of gestures like swiping down for the desktop, up to bring them back up again to bring up the timeline and task view, and if you have multiple desktops open, side to side to move between each one. The webcam is your standard HD webcam with dual microphones. It sounds and it looks like this. Standard sort of stuff really. You're only going to be using it for video calls with friends, family, colleagues, whatever the case might be. All good there. The speakers come with DTS-X Ultra pre-installed for 3D audio rendering, and they sound like this kind of thing. So that's exactly what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at 10 reasons, that's 5, 10 reasons why you should go for Microsoft 365 instead of Home Studio. But as well as all of the usual LG pre-installs, these laptops also come built in with Alexa. Alright, sorry, if you have one, I'm about to send it mental. Alexa comes pre-installed, so you can use your PC for all your virtual assistant stuff. Though, of course, Cortana is still a part of Windows 10. It's been updated in the United States with more updates coming worldwide, so if that's what you use, if either's what you use, you're good. So that is the LG Gram itself. We've seen that it has a lot of modern technologies thrown in, and it's fair to say that if you're in the market for a laptop of this size, you'll have a reasonable expectation regarding its power. So the final part to cover is something that I want to have a little bit more of a dive into. Intel Evo. First off, let's get the specs out of the way. We're just going to cover off these two models in particular. So our 16-inch model features an 11th gen Intel Core i5 with Intel Iris Xe graphics, 8GB of RAM, 512GB of NVMe SSD storage, and an 80Wh battery. Our 17-inch model features an 11th gen Intel Core i7 with Intel Iris Xe graphics, 16GB of RAM, 1TB of NVMe SSD storage, as well as that 80Wh battery. Whilst I've mentioned batteries, the 17-inch model comes with a claim for 19.5 hours of battery life, and the 16-inch model comes with a claim of 22 hours. Wow. Now, I've not had either of these long enough to really fully test that, but at the same time, whilst I've been using these, I haven't had to go to the plug that often, like at all. So that's your specs. What is Intel Evo? Intel Evo is a certification whereby Intel has worked with LG to ensure the laptop delivers on several different technologies. So it's not just about the processor and the graphics. It involves having Wi-Fi 6 as a connection type, ensuring you have over 9 hours of battery life minimum, which is not an issue here. Having thin bezels, including Thunderbolt 4, ensuring the laptop wakes up in less than a second, etc. Intel Evo has created a standard that premium Windows 10 laptops need to meet to gain that badge. For Windows 10, it's great. Microsoft have been pushing for modern designs for years through their own guidelines that they give to OEMs, and of course the Surface brand leading the way. So for Intel to set up their own standard that ensures that quality, it's great. Which then leads back to you and me. Since if you're in the market for a premium laptop and it's got an Intel Evo badge on it, you already know a lot of what you need to know. Now, with the time I've spent with both models, you're going to be absolutely fine with productivity apps and multitasking. So Word, PowerPoint, using that large display for Excel spreadsheets. Everything flies around nice and fast, good to go. But what if you're using more demanding applications than that? I ask this because these are big screen laptops. So if we focus on the 17-inch model specifically for a moment, your traditional 17-inch laptop over the years has been a desktop replacement. It would stay on your desk, maybe travel when you absolutely needed it to, but more often than not, it will just be plugged into an external monitor along with a mouse and keyboard, because frankly, it was too heavy for you to bother moving it around. Well, that was me anyway. So with this ultra thin, ultra light 17-inch, I wanted to try something a bit more taxing, which in my case is video editing. Now, the kind of editing I do normally relies on having a full-blown graphics card in the laptop. Here, we are just relying on the onboard Intel Iris Xe graphics. Now remember, I've had limited time with both these devices prior to filming, so for this I was just using the 17-inch 16GB RAM version. I can't say anything about the 16-inch version in this particular instance. But here I was able to load up a project which had 4K footage involved, and the previewing experience was actually really good. It did lag in a few sections of the video that hadn't rendered that preview fully and had a bunch of effects thrown on top of it, but it was still a really good experience. I'd happily edit content on this laptop, that's for sure. Rendering at the end of your project though, that's when you miss having a graphics card, as it can be much slower. But this is when Intel Evo comes out top trumps. The certification means that this laptop has Thunderbolt 4, 2 of them in this case, which supports external graphics card units. So when you need that graphics bump, you can plug it in at home and boom. Then when you're done, you don't have to lug the weight of said graphics card around with you. Makes sense, doesn't it? So with all that said, when it comes down to these versions of the LG Gram, the 16-inch and the 17-inch, these really large laptops, who are they for? I feel as if these laptops can belong in a number of use cases. The simple one is, frankly, if you like a big screen. Fit more on, get more done, but it's in a package which can go with you much more easily. The 17-inch version, of course, is still wide, so you will need a bag that fits it for carrying around, but the 16-inch version, lo and behold, fits into my bag, which was made for a 15-inch laptop. Go figure. So, office workers? Yes. Uni students? Yes. Running your own business? Yes. But what about creatives? Well, you can try it out yourself. If you have a Microsoft 365 subscription, you get not only the full suite of Office applications, but also access to premium benefits like 3 months of Adobe applications, including Photoshop. For those who dabble in the creative space with amateur production, you'll do all right here. Then if you want to expand capability, Thunderbolt 4 has you covered. So really, these are still viable desktop replacements for hooking into your external monitor, except you can lift it with one hand. You can take it around like any other small laptop. You can put it on your lap. You can nearly drop it like I just did. Don't do that. But anyways, these are gorgeous, thin, light Windows 10 premium laptops for if you need the extra screen space without the weighted sacrifice. As to whether you go for the 16-inch or the 17-inch variant, that's just preference. Thanks for watching. That was an overview of the LG Gram 16-inch and 17-inch models with Intel Evo. If you like what you saw, hit that like button, subscribe for more product overviews in the future and whatever else we have in store. But that's that. We'll see you around.